Mentally math!
Let's get mental!
I'll give...
We didn't get our daily cringe last week.
Okay, well, I will try to provide you with some cringe today. Oh, lovely.
Quick thing,
Yes.
guys. Remember that it's estimated. Yeah, I know. I said that.
Don't give it away.
Sorry.
And seem to be having some audio-video trouble. So I'm sure that by the time I get the screen working, that you will be well along in the math because you are doing this and not talking. Okay. Okay, give you a moment. It's up on the screen. You don't need to share a book. I think it's right there. Okay, so I'm sure you're one or two into it. So let's see, we can say 8 times.
Define
6.
1 or 2, Mr. Fletcher, please.
Excuse me?
Define 1 or 2.
Define 1 or 2. Oh.
No. Oh, I'm done. It basically means it.
Okay, so you can think of that as 48 plus 4, $52. Yes, we're multiplying by 10. So that just means we are bringing our decimal 1 over to the right. Boingy. So this will be 257 and 5/10. Then, oh wow, this is basically just divided by 10. So x equals 10. That's very simple. All right, estimation.
I didn't do it. Oh my god, I know this one. I know, I was on that problem when I said I just continued it.
Okay, it's just 12 divided by 2.
I forgot again.
All right, someday we'll have a day where everyone remembers
I know
that estimation just means you do not have to do the problem. As such, you can just simplify it into mentally math. Wait, does that look like mental math? Anyway, E, pretty simple, just 20 times 20 is 400. Then 1/10 of 200 is 20, so 3 times 20 is 60. Then median, yes, correct. It is 67, but you could think of it. I mean, this isn't mental math because I'm laying it all out like this, but.
Mr. Fletcher, because you need to arrange some least of greatest.
Well, that's the thing. For mental math, you should have done this all in your head.
Yeah.
But yeah, you think of it in terms of you're arranging them least to greatest, and then you just kind of cross your way to the center. Da-da! 67. Okay, then some difference product and quotient of 3/5 and 1/3. So I can think of that as 9/5 plus 5/5. Or 15th, excuse me, yeah. 5/15, 9/15 plus 5/15. So that would be 14/15. And then we could look at that as 9/15 minus. So then that would be 4/15. Right. Okay, then if we're multiplying that, we've got some cross-canceling goodness, and you just end up with 1 fifth. And then if you're dividing, you can end up with 9/5. The very idea disgusts me. So that would be 9/5, so 1 and 4/5. Ah, much more proper.
How is that improper?
Because you would have 9/5, which would be improper. I said it's proper, not improper. The quote to find the quotient. So dividing these, essentially, you would keep, change, flip. So you multiply it, but you'd multiply it like that. Oh, that's okay. That's why we're doing this. So that would get you to 9/5, which would get you to 1 and 4/5. Yeah, gotta flip it. All right. So today is interesting. In fact, I think I might just add an extra page here and start by just kind of trying to explain sort of the idea here. The addition part of this is relatively simple, but the regrouping part of this can confuse people a bit. So here I'm going to add a little blank piece of paper and kind of work up to what we're really talking about. So what we're talking about is units. So normally, say if we are doing basic addition, which if we're just talking our standard number system, it's in base 10. So if we had, say, 27 plus 15, and then you do this, you go like, oh no, I have an extra 10 here. So I'm going to carry that up to here, and then add those together in my tens column. All right, cool. That's kind of chill. And then, of course, if you're doing subtraction, you would say you've got 21 minus 17. You have a question about this?
No, I can't see the board because it's
On the line there? Better? Sorry. Okay, so now I'm looking at this and going, well, I can't subtract 7 from 1, so I am going to take 10 from my tens column and put it over here so that now I can work with this. I mean, I bet the first time you saw regrouping for subtraction in the first grade, I bet that seemed really weird, right? Like when you first started doing the whole thing of borrowing, regrouping. Yes?
They showed preludes of this before this lesson.
I'm showing you first grade math right at the moment. I'm working up to something here. So now that's all, of course, things that you know. But it got a little weird. I think we've done this so far, where say you've got fractions, right? Say you've got 2 and 1/4 minus 1 and 3/4, right? And so now, and by the way, I'm still doing nothing that has to do with today's lesson.
Oh, thank God.
Oh, well, this is something you should already know too. I'm pretty sure we've already covered this in class. So now the thing is that now we're in a situation where the units we're having to use are no longer in base 10. Right? We're now doing it in fractions. And so the same idea works, as in I can't subtract 3/4 from 1/4 on this side, and so I'm going to need to take one of my whole numbers here and I'm going to need to take some of the value from this and add it to this in order for this to work as a subtraction problem. So I can go, okay, well, I'm gonna take one whole number, but now, I mean, I'm not doing anything in terms of 10. I need, we're working in what? Fourths. So one whole, I would be adding 4 fourths to this. And so it is like exactly, you know, the same idea of I didn't have enough over there, and so no, I'm needing to carry, and or I'm needing to borrow, but it's not in tens, it's just in the units of fractions. So that gets us to, well, there was just not reduced, and so then, ta-da. Okay. So cool. I'm sure we're all following along pretty well here, right?
Was that a review?
That was a review, because what I'm trying to say here, and also say if we're doing the fractions, and we're carrying, let's say 4 fifths plus 1 and 3 fifths, and I'm adding these, then you know what? I got 7 fifths. Wait, what? So, what of course I could do is I could take 5 of my fifths and carry it as a 1, right? So I could say 2 fifths and then carry my other 5 fifths. You get that, right? So carrying, borrowing, it would work the same way, except I'm working in a different type of unit than just base 10 numbers. So, if you're wondering what this has to do with today's lesson, it's that we're working in these kinds of units. We're working in units of length in the imperial system and in time. So, yeah. So we're going to be using the same ideas of carrying and borrowing or regrouping. However, we're going to have to be converting it into the units that we're working in. So, for starters, we'd want to set this up one on top of the other. And since it is a addition problem, it doesn't matter which one's on top. So I can just say 1 yard, 2 feet, 7 inches. I feel like I'm kind of not very straight here, but okay. Then plus 2 yards, 2 feet, and 8 inches. Right? And so the first thing happening here is 7 plus 8 is 15 inches, but I have exceeded the amount of inches that I can do before it becomes another foot. Right? So in this case, we're not working in units of base 10. If we're talking about inches and feet, we're working in units of how many?
12.
Good job. Yeah. So once we hit 12, we're gonna want to carry it over to here. So in this case, we could say, well, I've got 3 inches, but I can now carry 1 foot over to the next column, because 15 minus 3 is 12. And so here's the 12 inches for my 15 inches I had here, but I've converted into feet so that I can, so I don't end up with something where it's like, 3 yards, 2 feet, and 15 inches, right?
No.
Someone's gonna look at that and go, wait, but doesn't that just mean you've got 5 feet? And I say, yeah, when I'm trying to choreograph the spring program, I do feel like I have 5 feet. Anyway, yeah, and then, so, I end this up. So, basically, this is just carrying, in addition, with units of, though. What's the problem here? What do you think?
Have enough space to make another yard.
Aha! Yes! So
we always had enough space to make a yard.
right. So I can subtract 3 feet from there. Ah, now I've just got 2 feet, which is better than having 5 feet. I'm gonna tell you. I mean, okay, and then I've got another yard up here, and then so I've got 4 yards. Yeah, the top.
I don't really get it.
Right. Well, it's a little strange the first time we see it, but essentially, going over the next unit. So we're working in yards, feet, and inches. And if we go, and when we're adding, if we go over, just like if we go over 10, when we're adding regular numbers, if we go over the amount that we need in order to create a unit on the next level up, then we should carry it. But we're not working in 10, we're working in the units that these make up. So we're working in units of 12 when we're going from inches to feet, and we're working with units of 3 when we're going from feet to yards. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, good. And here, let me just see you guys. Give me a 1, 2, or 3 of how we're feeling so far. Okay, all right. Okay, that's cool.
2.5.
Oh, that's funny. Okay, 2.5. Okay, so what's up?
So it seems weird that if there's like 5 inches and 5 inches, you just put 10 inches there.
Well, yes, because I would not have done enough for another foot, right? Yeah. So yeah, I could if it was 5 inches plus 5 inches. Yes, I could have 10 inches in my first row, and it'd be fine because until I get to 12, I can't carry it to the next part because we're working in units of 12 instead of 10. So yeah, the addition is actually a lot more simple to conceptualize than the subtraction. Yeah.
I'm really confused.
Right. Okay. Well, basically, if do you want to try explaining?
Yeah. Explain this part.
Well, yes.
Okay. So basically, for each unit, it can equal to something greater than it. So what you have to do, you have to carry over the number since it's something greater. Get it?
Like if I just added these up.
Get the part where like 7 plus 8 is like 15, and then like you can like carry it over because like 12 inches equal and one track.
Okay, I'd like to hear her instead of you talking over her, please.
And then so then you leave 3 over here, and then you take the 1 foot up there, and then I just don't get it from there.
Okay, well, essentially, if I got 15 inches here, that means I've got 1 foot 3 inches. And so where that other foot belongs is, well, in with the other feet.
And then if you add them,
And then if I've got 5 feet, that actually means I've got 2 feet and 1 yard. So that extra belongs over in the yards column.
oh, I got it.
Okay, cool. I see the light bulb. That's great.
Wait.
Yes?
I have another way of explaining it.
Okay, well, I think we got there, and we've got a few more examples here. I bet you'll have another opportunity. Like I said, this is a little bit more simple to conceptualize than when we get to the subtraction. Okay, but we're doing one more addition one, except now we're working in units of time. Let's see if you can figure this one out. I mean, give you a minute to write down the problem and start sort of trying to get. So, once again, if I go over the total number of units I can have to where I have this would really be 1 minute and change, then I need to bring that minute over to the next column. Yep. Well, am I in your way? Well, okay, there we go. Yeah, a little getting used to.
Yeah, I'll just look at the book.
Okay, well, pretty big up there.
Okay,
Oh yeah, you're right. Live by one.
this is right there. I don't get it.
Oh, this? Well, just write down the problem and I'll explain it out. I want to give people a chance to sort of try to crunch it a little bit themselves, but you know, if you're a little bit stymied by it, then you could just you could just wait and let me. Yeah, if you're a little flabbergasted or bamboozled or yep.
The problem becomes easier if you know all the stuff, like the measurements and stuff.
Oh, sure. Well, I mean, you have to know what all of the units are in order, and how they translate over to each other, how they convert.
Now it's easier for you.
Oh, great. Yeah. Yep. So it basically comes down to, like, I can't have 85 seconds. That's really, yeah. So that's really, like 25 seconds plus 1 minute. But I can take that minute and put it up over the minutes column. So I could say, I'm just gonna say, okay, here we're gonna say this is 41 minutes. I'll maybe try a different color. We'll say this is 41 minutes now. And so then we can just add this up so that it's like, well, but if we say 86 minutes, that doesn't work because I could carry that over to the hours.
So you can subtract 86 from 60.
Uh-huh.
It's just 4 minutes away from you, 1.5 hours, 86.
So 26 minutes plus 1 hour, but I'll bring that up there.
3 hours.
Right, so here I'll just put this extra hour in between these two. Okay. And so then we can end up with 4 hours, 26 minutes, and 25 seconds if you add those two together.
Are they gonna go into milliseconds? Are they gonna go into milliseconds with this?
No. No milliseconds. Okay, 1, 2, or 3. How we feeling?
50.
Okay.
And I'm
You're breaking the universe with that. Be careful. Okay. Good.
2.75 now.
Okay, good. Well, this doesn't get easier. I gotta warn you. Okay. So now I think it's pretty straightforward with carrying, but what about borrowing? Aha! So.
Oh, I get this.
So try to set up the problem yourself and see if you can guess what you're supposed to do here. But mostly you could just take a moment to write the problem down. Yeah. Well, this is, you see, now we're going to need to be borrowing from one column and bringing it over to the other in order for it to work out as a subtraction problem. Yes! Because, hey, don't blame me. It's the lesson. I didn't write the lesson. But this is important, and it's really not that hard. It's exactly like any other subtraction problem. It's just that you're working with different units. So, I wouldn't use that word, but it's not a lot different than any other subtraction problem. I'll say that. So, easy is not the word I would give, though. This looks really strange the first time to people. So you can't subtract 40 from 15. So I'm going to need to rearrange my values here. Now, you might notice, because I subtract from here and bring it over to here, like, what I'm going to end up with here at the top is still, it works out to be the same, 5 days, 10 hours, and 15 minutes. We're just rearranging the values a little bit. So I can take 1 hour. So this is kind of like the subtraction with the fractions thing. I can take 1 hour. If I took 1 hour and brought it over here, how many minutes would I add to my 15 minutes? Yeah. Huh? 500 are there 540 minutes in an hour?
No, sorry.
How many minutes would I add to my 15?
I thought it was,
60. Right? So if I take 1 hour from here, I can add 60 minutes to here. So I can essentially make this into 75 minutes. 15 plus 60. And so now I may proceed. Huh? Well, essentially, I can't subtract 40 from 15, right? I end up with some weird negative number. So I need to regroup, because 1 hour is equal to 60 minutes. So I'm going to take 60 minutes from my hours column and bring it over to my minutes column. I'm adding my 15 to my, I'm adding 60 to my 15, I should say. And so now, it's still the same amount of time that's represented there. Just I've got 75 minutes chilling there and 1 less hour in my hours column. But, you'd still add up to the same number of minutes. And so now I'm going to do that part out. Okay, so I'm going to go 5, and then that's going to be 35 minutes. Okay, but now I've got the same problem here, is I can't subtract 15 hours from 9 hours, so I'm going to need to regroup one of my days. So if I take 1 day off of here, now, so this is where it might feel a little strange, is now I'm changing over to a completely different unit system. Because, there's not 60 hours in a day, right? How many hours are in a day? 24. So how much do I need to add to my 9? 24. Alright, so 24 plus 9 would be 33. And even now I need to do a little bit of regrouping, right?
Why?
Huh? Because I can't subtract 5 from 3.
Oh yeah.
So I need to do some regrouping inside of my regrouping. Ah! Okay, so then yes? Sure. Alright, so let's see. So that'll be 18 hours. Okay, and that's less. And then now I can subtract that to get 3 days.
I'm gonna say answer but a bit differently.
Okay. Well, I'm not sure there's as far as how we're intended to do these things doing the Saxon method, it's about regrouping.
I converted it the same way.
Mhm.
I just did the days to hours first, and then I did.
Oh, okay. So it's kind of like you just shifted everything at once, sort of thing. Oh, okay. Well, sometimes people do that when they're doing sort of long subtraction problems, like with a bunch of digits. They start from the left and work to the right. So okay, sure. If that'll get you there. Okay, so on this one, how are we doing? 1, 2, or 3?
I'll take
Pretty
$2
good. Okay. Yeah, and if this is the first time we're looking at it, we'll be practicing these types of problems more. So if you're at a 2 right now, it's okay. It's totally fine. It's like I said, a little strange the first time you see it.
Sideways 8.
All right. Oh well, sideways 8 is infinity. All right. Now, gonna notice something a little strange once you start trying to set this problem up. So, say we're setting this problem up,
I think I get it.
and then, oh no, what sorcery is this? There's feet over here, but this one's got no feet. It's no good if got no feet.
Can't walk anymore.
How can you walk if you got no feet? Yes.
3 yards.
How can you go 4 yards 3 inches with no feet? Right? You can't even walk that far. So I'm gonna leave a space here. That's what the book does. However, you know what one person, and then I'll write this out just to get it down here. Huh? Oh, you know, I was totally just about to say, someone in the last class, now it's not the way they presented it in the book, but someone in the last class suggested the same thing, and I thought it was a perfectly fine solution, is doing the placeholder of 0 feet is not a terrible idea. It's not the way the book suggested to do it, but I think it's totally okay to do that.
That's what I did.
Alright, just trying to see if you need copies or anything.
No, we're good. Thank you.
No problem.
Yeah. There, set my subtraction thing. Yeah.
Wait, where do you borrow?
Huh?
Where do you borrow?
Yeah. So we're gonna need to do some borrowing here, in a few different ways. Now, I mean, what you were doing last time, where you were starting from left and working right. You kind of have to do it this time. Because you have no feet, and you need to borrow some feet. You can't borrow any feet if you don't have any feet. So just for starting out, I am going to borrow 3 feet from my yards column. So I can take away 1 yard and add 3 feet to this side.
Wait, how did you get the 3 feet?
Because there are 3 feet in a yard.
Oh.
So I'm subtracting 1 yard. So the same distance is represented here, right? Like 3 yards, 3 feet, and 3 inches is the exact same distance as 4 yards, 3 inches. You're just giving yourself some feet here just so you can do the subtraction problem, right? And that's the only reason, is that subtraction problems don't work if you're trying to subtract larger numbers from smaller numbers. Huh? Well, basically, I need more inches over here, because I cannot subtract 8 inches from 3 inches. And I also had the problem of no feet. And so I can't subtract 1 from 0 either, right? So that sends me over to my yards column. So I'm going to kind of rearrange my units over the whole thing. It equals the same amount of distance, just I'm saying it a little bit differently. Instead of saying 4 yards 3 inches, I'm saying 3 yards plus 3 feet plus 3 inches, and now I've got an extra foot over here at least to give to my inches column. So, but now of course I'm changing my units again. So I'm going to change that to 2 feet. But now I'm working in units of what? If I'm converting from feet to inches, working with units of 12. Yes. So I am going to add 12 inches to this column to give me 15 inches. And hey, now I've got a problem I can work with. Now I can, and it's still the same distance that I started out with. Just, 3 yards, 2 feet, 15 inches is still the same thing as 4 yards, 3 inches. Just saying it differently. Uh-huh. And so now I can wrap it up. I can go, okay, well, then 7 inches, 1 foot, 1 yard, and ta-da! Alright. So it's weird the first time you see it, but it's not that hard to truly not that hard to understand. That it's just that you're not working with a unit of base 10 like regular numbers. You have to figure out what your units are, which can, which is different than what you're used to, but it works and it makes sense. All right, so 1, 2, or 3. Okay. And if you're still at a 2 with this, it's okay the first time you see it. We'll keep practicing these, and if you run into these in the written practice and you're feeling a little bamboozled, don't be afraid to have me come over and walk and talk you through it. Okay.
2.9.
Okay, 2.9. Wow, we got you pretty high there. Okay, I'm going to turn 2.8. That's great.